Hello and welcome to another episode of Hidden Archives. Today I'll be talking about the Charlotte Hornets, or rather the McIntyre Skirmish from which the story comes. When we tell the story of the American War for Independence, we usually highlight big battles like Saratoga or Yorktown. The war on the ground, though, especially in the South, was also shaped by small, sharp skirmishes between militia and foraging parties. One of those small actions took place just north of what is now Charlotte, North Carolina. The McIntyre Skirmish, better known as the Battle of the Bees, was fought on October 3, 1780. In late September 1780, British commander Charles Cornwallis occupied Charlotte. His army quickly ran low on supplies, so he ordered a large foraging party of about 450 infantry, 60 cavalry, and around 40 wagons under Captain John Doyle out along Beatty's Ford Road into the countryside. A small group of local Patriot militia, about 13 or 14 men under Captain James Thompson, shadowed this force and waited for a chance to strike. The British stopped at McIntyre's farm, roughly 7 miles from town, and began gathering food and livestock. According to contemporary and early 19th century accounts, the scene turned chaotic. As some British soldiers chased chickens and rummaged through the farm, others knocked over beehives, sending angry bees into the foraging parties. Other accounts indicate that the British inadvertently stirred up some hornets' nests. At any rate, while the British were in disarray from the hornets or bees, the hidden Patriot militia opened fire. Their first volley killed or wounded several men and horses. From good cover and using accurate rifle fire, the Patriots made it seem like a much larger force was attacking. Doyle ordered a rapid retreat back to Charlotte, abandoning most of the supplies and leaving behind at least 8 dead and a dozen wounded, while the Patriots reportedly suffered no recorded casualties. McIntyre Farm is part of a pattern of stubborn local resistance that made Cornwallis' position in Charlotte uncomfortable and contributed to his decision to abandon the town later in October. These actions helped earn Charlotte the British nickname, a damned hornet's nest, a phrase the city still proudly uses today. So what happened to this location since the Revolution? The original McIntyre farmhouse survived for many years and still showed musket ball holes from the fight into the 19th and early 20th centuries, but it was demolished by a private owner in 1941. As Charlotte expanded, the surrounding farmland was developed. Today, the actual battlefield is no longer an open farm, but the site is marked and interpreted through public history efforts. There are now 2 main monuments just off of Beatty's Ford Road at the intersection with McIntyre Avenue. A stone pylon with a bronze tablet installed by the Mecklenburg chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, and a nearby monument from the Sons of the American Revolution. The current DAR monument, with its hornet imagery, replaced an earlier stone marker from 1901 and was rededicated in 1931. The area is maintained as a small historic site, not a full battlefield park. Historians and public interpreters don't all see the site in the same way, and that's where historiography comes in. One interpretation emphasizes the skirmish as a symbolic turning point in the occupation of Charlotte. In this view, a tiny group of local militia humiliating a very large British foraging party captures the spirit of backcountry resistance and helps explain why Cornwallis concluded Charlotte was more trouble than it was worth. A second interpretation is more cautious. It treats McIntyre Farm as a minor tactical encounter whose main importance lies in how it has been remembered. Scholars like Herschel Parker have pointed out that key details come to us through later recollections, especially the account of Joseph Graham printed in 1825, which may shape the story in dramatic ways. From this angle, the skirmish matters less for strategy and more as a case study in how local memory and patriot storytelling create heroic narratives. For teaching, this site is actually a goldmine precisely because it's small and partially lost. On a field trip to the McIntyre Skirmish site, students could compare the text on the monuments to see what we know from primary and secondary sources, discuss which details are well supported and which ones slide into legend. Think about why Charlotte embraced the hornet's nest identity and how public history shapes local pride. Consider why a modest skirmish gets a monument while other events do not. Even without a pristine battlefield, McIntyre Farm lets students see how evidence, memory, and commemoration interact. It shows that the American War for Independence wasn't just grand battles on famous ground, but also quick, confusing firefights on ordinary farms, places where everyday people made decisions that collectively shaped the outcome of the war. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.